well, why don't you play some board games, listen to the writing, and then go get your flute and come back for the music? You could have a full night if you wanted.
I'll have a full night. I'm tired.
Apparently I'm live. Oh, there we are. Hello. Alrighty. And writing twice a month as well. Oh, okay, yes. Okay. Hey. Well, I gotta say, this is kind of a nice angle, so. Hey, Jen, nice to meet you. I'm Jen as well.
Jennifer as well.
That's actually, as well as actually my last name. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Right On Right Now, getting started even a little bit later than our usual 10 minutes. 10 minutes is what I consider normal. 16 minutes is maybe a little bit up.
Fashion delay.
Thank you. I'm going to apologize to the people online because they've been probably wondering where we've been for the last few minutes. But since I can't see them, I'm not going to mention any of them by name. I wanted to try something a little bit different tonight, but not too different. I'm hoping that I can build towards having a regular introduction. I've always liked the sign-offs that the very famous newsmen have at the end of their broadcasts. I don't feel I'm up for that, like good night, God bless, anything like that. I'm not sure if I can really find something to coin that would be suitable. Besides, that's the end of the night, and I don't want to get there yet. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try to give you an introduction, and you guys let me know afterwards if it's okay. If it's okay, I'll start to tailor it. Maybe we'll do it again sometime. Otherwise, I will scrap it and try something else. We live in a world of anger. We live in a world of sorrow, and we live in a world of pain. But we also live in a world of kindness, of love, and understanding. Every day, every moment, we can choose if we contribute to one world or to the other. And by being here today, I'm just going to say that you're helping make the world a better place and a more compassionate place by listening, by letting yourselves be open, be moved, being humbled by the experiences and the talents of those you're going to see here tonight. It is my great honor to welcome you to Right On Right Now. And I would tell you how many times you've done this, but I honestly don't remember. We're still fairly new as an open mic in town. There are never enough literary open mics as far as I'm concerned. I could be a little prejudiced, being a person who likes to go to them and to perform at them. But with any luck, this will be a long-standing event that you can come back to many times and possibly bring your own work to and be inspired. And sorry, somebody's just texting me about the open mic. So, okay, so that's a dry run of the introduction. So, hello everybody, welcome. I'm so excited to have you all here tonight. Let's have a big hand for Bampod, our wonderful, wonderful host. My name is Jen Frankel. I am a dilettante. I am very good at doing a lot of things and not making very much money from them, which I think defines me as an artist. I've actually been discovering some poetry. Oddly enough, stuff that I've written that I just forgot about during the whole pandemic thing. I just kind of got confused about where I'd left things, and apparently a lot of it was on my phone. I just did a really fun event in Kingston over the weekend that was Kingston Art Fest. It's the first time they've been doing it in 3 years, and I think there's going to be a lot of that this year. There's going to be a lot of first time for the last 3 years. So I had been under the impression that I was just reading as an author and brought not poetry, and had to dive into my phone and try to find some poetry very quickly because that was what they wanted. I was totally okay. A lot of the stuff that I wrote over the pandemic was introspective. Did anybody else have that experience if they were writing? Yeah, like a little bit, yeah. Yeah, a lot of navel gazing and wondering if your navel was a place through which you could get COVID. This is called Out of Despair Comes Life. Over the hill, shall we say. It's a lonely place of good intentions shelved, ambitions questioned. Can I really? Is it gone? Am I all but done? I sit to journal all my flaws, my failings, my heartaches, my loss, the dreams that never fled, although they stubbornly refused to come true. All those endless days of prodding at the walls, searching for the way forward, digging test boreholes in the ground, finding nothing but sand in the sample cores, knowing that the woman just feet away has again struck gold. It can go so far as to make this woman a little bitter and resentful of her own bitterness, when there can be joy if only she stops looking in and instead puts it all out there, down on the page, where it's suddenly manageable and more, where it changes into something not just ready to be handled, but a gift, an inspiration to subsume grief and regret and creative thought and new beginnings. Wait for peace at your peril. Serenity comes in movement, in restless thought and open mind, in the words on the page and the comfort they bring. Thank you. This is called Too Old, Too Young. Too old, too young. This is dedicated to anybody who was talking about Carl Jung before the event this evening. Yes. Too old, too young. Perpetually mismatched. Perpetrating misdeeds, never the age I am, just feeling it in my wounds and bones, carrying potential and failure together. The bedfellows I'd eschew for a little sense of accomplishment. If I could only find the right side on which to alight. What's bigger than a California king? Because I think this unfortunate, uncomfortable resting place has no edges. I want to be a flat earther here. I think no matter how far I roll, a new horizon will greet me. Too old, too young, too old. To jump on the bed instead of letting it be my prison. Too wise to be so naive. Too naive to be so wise. Thank you. I've also been writing a lot about depression. I think a lot of people, it's a terrible, terrible thing to say, but I feel that during, especially the early parts of COVID, when everyone was experiencing what it was like to be a shut-in, I started to feel more understood by people who've never been depressed before, who've never had any issues with their mental state. I started to feel like people kind of got me all of a sudden, and I actually felt more connected with the world thanks to everybody else being stuck inside. I guess that's irony. Is that? I'm never really sure if I've got it. I've been told so often that everybody gets the concept of irony incorrect that I'm always assuming that I don't understand what it is. But I've ended up writing a lot about connecting through shared experiences. And this is called In the Process of Emerging from Invisibility, at which point thought itself had become so painful that I would do anything to escape it, even beating down what was left of my hope, what remained of a sense that there was anything outside me that could even see me. What would it matter if I hide from the world, from my own mind? If to engage with either is to suffer misinterpretation, or worse, to attract no notice at all, so that even the most precious and the most entertaining of my thoughts are dust in the light of day, popped, disintegrated, without even the shimmer film residue of a burst bubble to show they were ever formed. I'm realizing there's a theme to these and they're not fun. This is called, this is the last one I'll read for you guys, because I want to get on to all of the other wonderful people. This is called At the Gates of Entry. I am the Trojan horse, Deep inside myself, I wait. I crouch, peering through obstructed tiny slits that admit only the merest sliver of a dying light. Soon it will be full dark, and I should creep from my hiding place, lower myself to the ground below. But what then? I have forgotten why I waged this war that forced me inside myself. When dawn appears, I will find myself still hiding deep within this wooden shell. Not an invading force, but a simple, however imposing, statue. Thank you very much.
I didn't think those were bad.
You know? Yay!
Well, I mean,
You can come back anytime, even like twice on the same night if you'd like to.
you overcome a lot. That's good for you, isn't it?
I think so. I was
It's
talking.
good for everybody. Everybody.
I was actually talking to my current roommate about the concept of being forged and how if you don't beat the heck out of metal and put it through the fire and put it through the, well, I guess swords kind of take a Turkish bath, don't they? Like they go through the heat, they go through the cold. If you don't put it through that, it breaks. So we should be celebrating we should celebrate coming out of things for sure, and coming through things and finding new ways to figure them out. Yeah. Getting up and reading poems and stuff. Our next performer is Majnan. Thank you so much for coming tonight. And a big hand. I'll see if the microphone is tall enough for. I'll just move the microphone up a little bit, and then I might actually try to move I think I'm going to move the camera down a little bit too, because I have a feeling that I set this for my head height, and everybody else is going to be cut off at the neck.
I have a request, if possible.
That's a real camera.
The little disposable. I think we're fun. Hello. Hi everyone. I'm going to be reading some of my poetry for you. Consecration. My heart was too ravenous to only want happiness. All of man burns in me. I put my white feet on his beaming forehead, and I'll not leave until he charges me full with the charge of humanity. Tambourines, cymbals, trumpets, and flutes. As I turn up, people will come to roll the front of my tomb. Then we'll celebrate with feasts and festivities, and over the brimming plate my head will lean heavily. Firm on the highest stand, I'll take my station place and wrap my solemn hands as the endless drummer plays. What is there for me as I preach from my chest? My fill is away by a single hair's breadth. Tambourines, cymbals, trumpets, and flutes. As I turn up, people will come to roll the front of my tomb. Will one plow be enough for my wants? At 20, a time for anxious hopes and dreams. There'll be many sighs and sobs as new labors are set forth in front of me. Opera Hall. First daughter taught good and well, so father thanks God for deliverance from strife, all without knowing what treasure collects in the center of his wife. Another generation will make way for new sin, brains blacken and blue, bad blood runs under painted skin. Here's a gift from the sovereign too, brought down to their proud feet and beaten well with the blows of reproach. I'm sent towards the loathsome beast, to whom I'm already known. With the new and obscure verse, which even the devil pales from, as I mumble an incoherent curse out of my laughing tongue. He'll watch the flames as they swell on this faded stage tonight and experience what ecstasy dwells in the heart of this androgyne. The armies that riot in you have already gone through me. I've heard their heavy boots and I've seated them at my knees. All of man takes place in me. I'm the male, I'm his wife. All wrongdoing is my doing, all praise is mine. I'll have delusion as my god, I'll catch the muse naked. I'll be in opera hall, I'll make my disorder sacred. Cain. to Cain, the first exile. For how far a dancing flame you did it, prophet of attractive visions, Cain. Flickering behind the eyes of your children is her twisting figure, still to this day. So long to the stupidity of boyhood, filled to the brim with black as he rots. How sad, laying where he once stood, reduced now to God's ink pot. As for you, go on your way, finish what you started then. March onward, lead the new faith, through every field and den. Steaming brick on steaming brick, the work is long and without help. For us who build our houses in the sobbing depths of hell, I'll take the crown of indignity in place of promised gold. I'll have slander as my feed and swallow each blow as it's told. Don't be so wretched, please. Give the whole affair your best, and don't deny your seat as misfortune's honored guest. In me burns 1,000 fiends, each holding their own pocket knife. They wait, hushing each other as I speak, ready to plunge into my side. Tonight, once again, I'll lay within these boiling rooms. At each corner, an ambush awaits as my relentless passion blooms. I seethe underneath the fan, impatient with the task I'm sent to do, to plunge into the origin of man and re-emerge within you. Impulse has made me its victim, pouring intrigue into the hearts of all. It's laid my brain out wide open for this religious night of song. I imagine someone at my side, with me underneath my own cross. I rise with joy for all my life, indifferent to the taunts. Thank you.
It was wonderful. The poetry was wonderful, and the feat of memory was even, well, no, it wasn't even more than what everything. Thank you so much. I'm just going to stop talking. Thank you so much. We're going to have another round of applause tonight. Now I'd like to bring up our featured reader for the evening. You have heard Jonathan read before. Are you ready? Excellent. Jonathan Greenbaum is working on a novel, or finished a novel? Have you finished it?
It's finished. I'm revising the manuscript.
Ah, he's rewriting the novel. That's always the fun part, isn't it? So please welcome Jonathan Greenbaum. Is there anyone else who has arrived who would also like to read? Just so I can. Oh, of course. Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me? Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so I'm going to read the first chapter of a novel that I've completed, and I'm revising it. The novel is called Father and Son, and it's a three-generation family saga of a Jewish-Canadian family in Toronto. And I say it's a saga because it takes place over quite a few years. The story opens in February of 1948 with the arrival of the first generation character who's an immigrant, Roman Platinsky, and the story ends in about 2010, by which time two other generations of the family have been born. Father and son. The overnight train from Halifax braked with a hiss and rolled into the cavern of Union Station. Roman Platinsky looked out the train window. Two bored-looking porters waited beside their dolls. Leaning forward, Roman rubbed his right leg, which had gone stiff. Instinctively, his hand traveled to the small bulge in the seat of his pants where he'd sewn his money, $50 American, into the waistband of his underwear. There were no further immigration formalities inside the train station, and soon Roman was standing in front of the building, the peak of his gray worker's cap tilted low over his eyes. It was an icy February morning in 1948. Red trolley cars clattered along Front Street, clanging and vibrating as they went. Across the street, a great granite building rose, its pale wings running the length of the entire block. Passers-by ignored the short, underweight, balding young refugee. When a respectable-looking man approached, Roman showed him a piece of paper with the words, Jewish Immigrant Aid Services of Canada, Spadina Avenue. The man pointed west, and Roman walked in that direction, carrying his leather suitcase. With each step, his right leg swung outwards in an arc, and he grimaced. An hour later, Roman came to a 3-story house on Spadina Avenue. He entered its storefront office and glanced about cagily. A squint-eyed secretary raised her head from her typing. "Shalom," Belka Shelton said. "How can we help you?" "Aleichem shalom. Ich bin Platinsky, Roman." "Yes," the secretary said. Roman handed the young woman his landed immigrant card. Belka peered at the writing through the thick lenses of her glasses. "Welcome to Toronto, Roman Platinsky," Roman said. Then he remembered. An immigration official at the docks in Halifax had also called him Plotkin. The official, Roman now understood, had shortened his surname. The secretary called over a man who spoke fluent Yiddish, Polish, and Russian. Lazar greeted Roman in Yiddish and led him into the lunchroom. "We were expecting you," Lazar said. "How was the crossing?" Roman raised his shoulders. "I made it." Lazar gave Roman a plate of toast and beans and a glass of sugary lemon tea. Roman hungrily cleaned his plate. "When can I start to work?" "Where are you running?" Lazar gently tapped the back of Roman's hand. "You have to learn to speak English first. We'll put you into a course for immigrants. When you're ready, we'll do what we can to find a job for you." Lazar explained that Jayas had rented a room for him in a house in the ward. The Kensington Market and the Minster Synagogue, he added, were a short walk from the house. "You won't pay rent until you start to work," Lazar said. "Until then, we'll give you a small allowance for your necessities." Roman blew on his white knuckles. "You're from Lodz," Lazar said. "You survived. Every survivor had a story. What he'd done to stay alive during the Nazi occupation of Poland, Roman thought, was no one's business." "I survived," Roman said. "Now I'm here." Lazar covered Roman's hand with his own. "It's okay. You're among your brothers." The English classes for immigrants were held in the basement of a church on Bloor Street. Roman read the teacher's handouts until he knew them by heart. In class, he talked as much as he could. Often, walking along the street in the ward, he spoke English aloud to himself. By the following December, he was able to converse in broken English. Lazar, meanwhile, had kept his word. Jayas had pulled some strings to get him a job on a construction site on Dufferin Street. It was December and there was snow on the ground. Roman bore the pain in his right knee as he pushed a wheelbarrow filled with fresh concrete. Despite his lameness, he worked as hard as his fellow laborers, Brits, Italians, Portuguese, Poles, Ukrainians, Serbs, and others. Toronto was very different from his native city of Lodz, Roman now understood. In pre-war Poland, Lodz had been a cosmopolitan place where Jews and Poles did business with one another. But rising Polish nationalism had led to new pogroms and anti-Jewish laws. Many Poles and Russians refused to live peaceably with their Jewish neighbors. Here, in this colonial English city, the immigrants lived mostly in their own communities and were tolerated by the Anglo-Protestant majority. One morning, as Roman waited beside the concrete mixer truck for his next load, he heard a voice. "A Jew should not work here." Roman spun around. Yaroslav, one of the cement workers, was staring at him. The man's flat gray eyes contained an ugly emotion. "You Jews rich," Yaroslav said. "You quit job today. My friend take your place." Roman stepped backwards and raised his arms. If Yaroslav came any closer, he would choke him into submission. He'd learned how to take care of himself during the war. You had to choose the right moment to fight. His father had tried to resist a gang of Falanga thugs and had been beaten to death in the middle of the street. "You know what partisan or Jew hater meant in war?" Roman said. and he drew 2 fingers across his throat. Yaroslav spat. After that, he left Roman alone. On a spring afternoon in 1951, Roman sat down with Lazar in the Jayas lunchroom. "You've been doing construction work for more than 2 years, Lazar said in English. "How do you find it?" "A man must earn the daily bread," Roman answered in English. Lazar eyed Roman's right leg. "It can't be easy for you," Lazar said. "How much money have you saved?" "Maybe 2,000. In fact, Roman's bank balance was $3,030. "I have something in mind for you," Lazar said, and he told Roman about an elderly Jewish businessman who owned a car wash on Bathurst Street. The man wanted to retire, but his sons didn't want to take over his business. "You won't get rich running a car wash," Lazar said, "but you'll always have a regular income." Roman considered. He was tired of being bossed around on construction sites. The look in the eyes of certain foremen caused him psychological pain. "Car washes may be a good idea," he said. "I need talk first with owner." Lazar promised to set up the meeting in a few days' time. Bathurst Scrub and Wash was owned by a man named Dunkelman. His tunnel car wash on Bathurst Street was housed in a single-story, cinder block building north of Lawrence Avenue. Seated at his cash desk, Dunkelman came straight to the point. He wanted $5,200 for his business and his land. He wanted the full sale price up front, and he insisted that Roman keep on his 2 employees. "It's a fair deal," Dunkelman said. Dunkelman was a Jew like himself, Roman thought, yet he was asking too much money for his business. For another $4,000, Roman thought, he could buy a small house. He'd have to do construction work for 2 more years to save enough money to buy the car wash. And why should he pay the full price up front? Roman stood. "I am poor construction worker," he said. "Good luck selling business to other man." When Lazar heard what had happened, he grew red in the face. He would speak to Dunkelman, he told Roman. A week later, Lazar accompanied Roman to Mr. Dunkelman's office. "Sit down, Roman," Dunkelman said. "My friend Lazar explained your situation to me. I've thought it over. Would you agree to pay $4,200 for my business? You can give me $500 up front and pay off the rest in monthly installments. Lazar has assured me you'll keep your end of the deal." The sale price now corresponded to a little more than 2 years of his weekly wages. "I want you should lower price by $500 more, Roman said. Dunkelman's cheeks turned pink. "Now hold on, I'm not a rich man, I can't go lower than 4,000. What about the 2 men they work here? I don't need them. Take 1 man. You can't be here all the time. You're going to need someone who knows how to work the controls." Roman looked at Lazar, who nodded. "We have deal for 4,000, Roman said, and he and Mr. Dunkelman shook hands. From Monday to Saturday, Roman sat at the cash desk in his small office. He opened the car wash at 9 in the morning and closed it at 6 in the evening. Each time a customer drove onto the lot, a bell pinged. Roman got up and limped to the mouth of the wash tunnel, where he instructed the driver to edge his car onto the rollers. A good number of Roman's customers were Jewish Canadian men who lived in the neighborhood. Some of them had heard that Roman had survived the Nazi occupation of Poland. When one of these men asked Roman about the war, Roman changed the subject. The past was dead to him. But a single man in a new country needed friends, Roman knew, so he joined Temple Emmanuel, a Reformed synagogue whose small congregation gathered to pray wherever it could rent the space. Although Roman worked on the Sabbath, he attended the temple's educational evenings and social events. At one of these gatherings, he met Mickey Cohn, a jeweler who'd been born in Toronto. Mickey was a broad-backed man of 30 with short black hair and a large, florid face. "You're one of us," Mickey said, and he clapped Roman on the shoulder. "Coffee and cake evenings like this are good for our business. You eat a piece of honey cake and you schmooze everyone. Get yourself some business cards printed and give one to every person you meet." Roman thanked Mickey for his advice. "If you need a ring or a watch," Mickey said, "come to me and I'll take care of you." Mickey became Roman's first Canadian friend. Within several months, the members of the temple were calling Roman their Polish brother. One afternoon a week, Roman dropped by the Jayas office to talk with the refugees in the lunchroom. On each visit, he made a point of chatting with the fussy secretary whose brown hair rose like quills on her small head. "My car wash grow good," Roman said to Belka one afternoon in August. "You don't say, 'my car wash grow.' You say, 'my business is growing.' You have to learn to speak proper English, Mr. Plotkin. Better you should call me Roman." Roman told Belka the story of how his surname had been changed by an immigration official at Pier 21. "A good thing, too," Belka said. "People will be able to pronounce your name now." After a bit of chit-chat, Roman invited Belka to lunch the following Sunday. Belka accepted the invitation but said, "Don't think you can get fresh with me." The next Sunday they sat together at a table inside the United Baker Dairy restaurant. "New," Roman said, "where are your parents?" "They're dead. They were run over by a drunk truck driver in Hamilton. It happened when I was 6. The orphan Belka had been sent to Toronto to live with her Aunt Mimi, her mother's sister. She was the poor relative, she said, lodging in the large house among her well-off aunt's daughters. Roman observed that Belka wore dresses that didn't flatter her full figure. Between mouthfuls of bean soup, Belka talked about the injustices of life. "There's no good live alone," Roman said. "Every man need a woman. So find a woman to live with you. Maybe you come live with me." Smiling, Roman reached for Belka's hand, but she snapped it back. "I'm not the Red Cross, Roman. Anyway, I'll never marry you." "Who said about marriage?" "You need to know where you stand with me." Roman began to court Belka. That summer and fall, on Sunday afternoons when the weather was fine, Roman took Belka walking in Kensington Market. The market has strong Jewish flavor from earlier decades of immigration. The names of Jewish merchants, tailors, furriers, bakers, deli owners, appeared in Yiddish on signs above their shops. Shopkeepers stood behind cluttered stalls, calling out to passers-by in English and Yiddish. Walking around the market with Belka, Roman felt a strange nostalgia for his native city. "A sweet girl should have sweet things," Roman said, and he bought Belka a package of penny candies. Belka slipped the candy into her mouth. "I saving money to buy house," Roman said. Belka gave him a sideward glance. "A house? Where?" "Bathurst and Wilson. What you think? If you can afford it, you should. Believe me, you're never at home living in someone else's house." Later, they went into a Chinese restaurant on College Street. "I never eat Chinese food before I come to Canada," Roman said. "That's because you're a greener. Follow me." Roman sniffed and followed. Belka had combed out her frizzy hair and had attempted to style it in waves. It hadn't come out right, Roman saw. He noticed that she had powdered her face and wore a pale shade of lipstick. He was making progress. The Bathurst trolley car shook on its rails. Roman sat beside Belka on a wooden seat. He'd been courting Belka for 6 months and, despite his attempts to achieve a little physical intimacy, Belka continued to resist his advances. She let Roman hold her hand and peck her on the lips. When Roman tried to caress her bosom, she pushed his hand away. "Don't get fresh with me, mister." Touch is a natural thing between man and woman. I may be an orphan, but that doesn't give you the right to disrespect me. On this Saturday afternoon in January, Roman was accompanying Belka to Honest Ed's Bargain House. Belka had seen a magazine ad for a woman's navy suit with a velvet-trimmed jacket and a full flared skirt. She hoped to find one like it at the Bargain House. I want your opinion on the fit of the suit, Belka said. She had darkened her thin lips with bright red lipstick. Her normally pale cheeks were flushed from the cold. It was time to bring matters to a head, Roman decided, and he slipped his right arm around Belka's shoulders. When she turned her head, he gave her a lingering kiss on the lips. The Bargain House teemed with immigrants speaking their own languages. Roman limped up and down the cluttered aisles. He watched in bemusement as Belka modeled several suits in front of a full-length mirror. A man couldn't be whole without a wife and children. He was fond of this stubborn, inexperienced woman. He would take care of her, and she, in return, would give him children and create a comfortable home for him. Roman took Belka's hand. I want to take care of you for life, he said. What are you saying, Roman? Roman proposed to her in front of a sock bin. When Belka told her Aunt Mimi about the proposal, Mimi said, marry this man. He may be green and lame, but he has a business. And you're already 24. Belka hemmed and hawed for a week. On a Sunday afternoon in February 1952, the rabbi from Temple Emmanuel married Roman and Belka in the basement of a church on St. Clair Avenue. Roman was 30 years old and living in a one-bedroom apartment on Bathurst Street. Belka quit her job and moved into Roman's apartment. She threw out Roman's junky furniture and replaced it with second-hand pieces of better quality. You have a good soul, Roman, but you know nothing about furniture or clothing. I'll teach you. Roman bit his lip. Belka learned to prepare Roman's favorite dishes, kasha, gefilte fish, chicken soup with knedlach, and sweet lokshen pudding. When Roman came home tired at the end of a long day, Belka made him lie down. She removed his socks and massaged his feet. You stand too much at work, Roman. That's why your ankles are swollen. New is my job. You're the boss, Roman. Make your employees stand. And another thing, why are you still dressing like you just got off the boat? I own car wash, not Eaton's. You're a businessman, Belka said. When we go to Temple or Mimi's house, I want you to look respectable. Belka dragged Roman to Honest Ed's Bargain House. Throw out your old worker's cap, she said, and she bought Roman a smart gray fedora with a black hat band. Try on this suit. Belka handed Roman a single roll gray flannel suit. Roman put it on and stood in front of a full-length mirror. How I look? You look respectable now. Belka led Roman to another section of the store. She picked out 2 dress shirts and a burgundy tie. You'll wear these shirts with your new suit, she said. Come, I'll find you a pair of shoes to go with your suit. In the shoe department, Roman tried on a pair of black Oxford lace-ups. This English shoe hurt my feet, he said. Never mind, I'll stretch the leather for you. We're taking them. Roman muttered in Yiddish. Well, Aunt Mimi said to Belka, how do you find married life? You were right to advise me to marry Roman. He's stubborn, but I'm working on him. I joined the temple and the sisterhood. We're having a raffle on Sunday to raise money for the building fund. I'd like you and my cousins to come and support us. If you'd asked Roman whether he loved his wife, he might have said, love? Who knows? I can't have children by myself. The following December, Belka gave birth to Harvey and Hervey, identical twins. Thank you.
Jonathan. It was great. I just had this weird feeling that that was my grandpa, and except for the part about him being homeless, but you know, otherwise, that was that was terrific. Thank you so much for being a feature tonight. Next we have Carson. Are you all ready? Is that a teddy?
It's some like thing. I think it's something for Pan Am. I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Couple of
Hello.
that never happened. Couple of housekeeping things. I need to prove to someone that I'm here. So I'm just gonna take a quick selfie. I did a countdown. That was not smart. Sick. Thank you so much. Secondly, I'm going to. It's a long story. Secondly, because my work was like, yeah, let's put the person with insomnia on a 6 a.m. shift. I gotta leave right after I'm done here, like right after. But I've been enjoying everyone's work. I wish I could say it for everyone's. I have a long poem and then I have a small song. They're both kind of relate because I wrote them within like a few months of each other. What was weird is that I was looking back through poetry and being like, okay, what should I perform tonight? And I found this one poem that I wrote called Happily Ever, Nevermind. And I was reading it and I'm like, this reminds me of something. When did I write this? A day before something like started to like go down. And I'm like, oh wait, did I just like prophesize this entire BS that I went through? It's fine. So now you're gonna hear it. So this is Happily Ever, Nevermind. The beginning. Once upon a time, a girl went through hell. She lost everything she knew. She was not well. As time flew by, she found herself in the rubble, and her heart was whole. But then she met a knight in shining armor. She was overwhelmed by how safe she felt, coated in the knight's arms, and they lived happily ever, never mind, the middle. Her thoughts ran like rapids, a clusterfuck of pain and misery. It was like you were speeding down a highway, and the road were my veins. You went faster and faster until you crashed at the corner between my heart and my soul. The damage is done, as are we. Life is no fairy tale, no matter how it may feel, and if that is what you are yearning for, you will be let down. I wanted to believe otherwise. I wanted to be ready for you. Hence why I took my time to demolish the walls I had built over time. I wish you were ready for me. But that is not the case. I must accept that. And it is taking all that I got not to take you back, but in a moment, in the dark now, it can save me from a darker misery later on. And as time goes by, I feel more so that it has all been a lie, that you were never going to be with me. I wasted my time because I was understanding to an unreasonable extent. You know, it reminds me of something my mother always said. To deep dive in shallow end will only leave you with a crack upon your head. But I believed you loved me until you said you liked me. That's fun. And she thought this every night and day until the end. She then began to pray, asking the Almighty for whatever chance of love for someone to crash into a road like a wave upon a shore, someone to sweep her off her feet. But the love she needed and still needs can only come from within. And when that love is strong, that is when true love will come. When she can finally stop saying, never mind. Now I'm going to grab my ukulele for a second. So in the midst of all that writing and stuff, I wrote a song, like, let's say a few years back. And how would I describe it? I was going through some shit. And this kind of just was like a stream of consciousness moment. I started playing some chords, recorded myself, was like, oh, I just wrote a song. Never had an experience like that since. The weirdest thing. And it's kind of my go-to song when I'm like, what do I perform today? So this is a song called 3 a.m. Hope you enjoy. I look you in the eye and you look at me and all right through me. You hear me out even though it's crazy, you still seem inside of me, baby. I know I'm not the easiest, I know I'm really complex, but you stand by my side, and I don't know why. You're an angel in disguise, not one of the other guys, and I'm trying to get over you. Having you in my life is better than losing you, but I don't want to move on, 'cause my feelings are too strong. I haven't felt this alive in so long. I haven't felt love in a long time. The last time it broke me 1,000 crimes. I got to the point where I could stand alone, but then your smile sent me to a danger zone. Now I sit here at 3 a.m. playing your guitar, should go to bed. I can't let go of what happened. What's happening to me? I lose peace when I look at you. Am I just crazy, or am I a fool? I can't get over you. Honestly, I don't want to. I can't get over you. Guess my feelings must be true. Ooh, must be true. I just can't get over you. Thank you. I'm off to go take some melatonin. Have a wonderful night.
So I always ask people to play the flute, and you know what it means in the life. It's the flute. It's so small.
That was wonderful. Hi, come on in. That woman brought it right into the place. Thank you, Carson. Next we have the latest in our continuing soap opera, The Ties That Bind. Did I get that right? The Ties That Bind. And the author, Jennifer, will give you a bit of just a very short recap, and then we'll have a commercial break, and then we'll go on with, yes.
Oh my God.
Hi. So some of you may have been coming here a few weeks now and hearing the installments of the soap opera that I've been writing obsessively for months now. Not COVID related at all. So tonight, quick recap. We have Dane, our very charming young restaurateur who lives in Mariposa, California. He's running away from the mob in Las Vegas. He did some things there that he regrets. He met the senator's daughter in his new restaurant. Some kindling warmth is happening between them. But he's also troubled by his past and his future. Tonight, he's going to meet an old friend.
We're doing the reading after the break. You said after the break.
Oh, yeah, we're not really having a break.
We're not having a break, okay.
So
We have a
this
commercial break.
Jonathan, the wonderful Jonathan who we just read, is playing the old friend.
Oh, well, why don't you share a mic with the other tall guy, and then we don't have to. We don't have scripts.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, can you hear me? It doesn't seem to be working. I don't think it's on.
Oh, I thought it was. Let me just check.
Rule number one.
of performing in public. Always test the mic.
Okay,
Now it's working.
Okay, yeah, we got some.
Do you want me to read the,
Or I can do it. Oh, all right.
No, I'm actually
Dane is jacketless, tie undone, counting receipts in a corner of banked seating. He is tired. There's a loud knock. Dane starts, gets up and goes to the door. He looks out the window and doesn't like what he sees. He opens the door. Bertie is there with two other big guys. He is a tough guy but smart, with a gentle face and calm demeanor. He wears a suit and fedora.
Hiya, Dane. Long time no see.
Bernie, old buddy, old pal, how are you?
Not bad.
How's Maria and the kids?
They're good, they're good. Sorry to bother you so late at night.
You're a long way from Las Vegas.
Yeah, well, some business brought me here.
Too bad you didn't come earlier when we were open. I would have made you your favorite. I would shepherd's pie.
Maybe next time. Can we come in?
Of course. Forgive me for being rude. A long night.
Nice place you've got here.
It's different from my old place. More family oriented.
Nice and wholesome, ain't it?
I'm catering to a different clientele.
Yeah, I heard. The senator eats here.
From time to time, yes. Can I make you a drink? I think I have some Johnny Walker Black behind the bar.
Don't mind if I do.
On the rocks, if I recall.
You always had a good memory for the little details.
It's part of being in the hospitality business. Fellas?
They're on the clock tonight. Fred's driving.
Okay.
I really didn't want to come out here, Dane, my friend. I really didn't.
Hey, I get it. Just business.
Why'd you do it? Run out of town like that?
I had no choice, Bernie. Marco was gonna kill me.
He was gonna find you sooner or later. He trusted you. He considered you a friend. But that business with Angela,
It started out as strictly business, I swear. Is she alright?
you know Angela, always squirms her way out of tight spots. And she comes on strong, we all know.
When she wanted a more intimate relationship, how was I gonna say no? She threatened to tell Marco all about our art bracket, and I figured he could forgive her indiscretion more easily than he could forgive me for being disloyal. As it turned out, Angela couldn't be trusted.
Who knew? Did it ever occur to you not to sleep with Marco's wife or run a racket behind his back? You were on top of the world, raking it in at the restaurant.
I got greedy, I admit it. And I love art.
Really?
Really? Jackson Pollock in particular. His paintings are harder to forge than you would think. All he did was drip paint. But man, he had finesse. Rothko, on the other hand,
Dane, you always run your mouth when you're nervous. Look, Marco don't want trouble. He always knew you were ambitious, but you should have come to him with the art business.
tell me what you think I should do.
You know Tony O'Brien, don't you?
Yes, I've met him. I don't know him though.
Well, your sister does.
Yeah, she knows him.
Tony's guys in Las Vegas are squeezing Marco, moving in on his territory. I need you to get information about his next move. Do you think you can cozy up to him a bit? Use your sister as your ticket into his confidence?
Man, Bertie, that's gonna be tough.
No tougher than being dead. Or being on the lam. Marco will always find you. He's got me working for him, remember?
Yeah, Bertie the Bloodhound.
That's right, pal. And you're Hamlet, remember? Great at, what do you call him?
Soliloquies.
Yeah, you can talk your way into anything.
Yeah, it's talking my way out that I need to work.
Marco's counting on you. Who knows? Maybe you can come back to Las Vegas if you help us with Tony.
I don't know that I want to go back to Las Vegas. Maybe I'm getting too old for this lifestyle.
I said that myself 30 years ago. Gotta go. It's a long drive back to Vegas. Understand, Dane, that I'm not asking a favor from you. Understand? This is an order from the top. I suggest you get back to me soon with some information. Marco is being very generous. Don't take it for granted.
I wouldn't do that, Bernie. Thank you. And thank Marco.
Bernie and his men exit. Dane holds his drink tightly in his hand, fearful. Scene 2, Madeline Avery's office, day. Rose and Madeline first meet. Madeline Avery is a small and attractive with an underlying ferocity. She favors power suits. Her office is small but tidy. She's on the phone.
Can we change the court date to Thursday? We haven't been given enough time to file our deposition. The charges were laid yesterday, for heaven's sake. I don't care what time the judge eats lunch. Just get me on Thursday. The deposition will be in tomorrow morning.
Madeline hangs up. There's a knock.
Oh, yes?
The door opens. There's no secretary, just Rose, wearing her school uniform. Hi. I just kind of...
Hey, it's fine. No, I don't have a secretary yet. Working on it. Come on in, kid.
Rose enters. She likes Madeline right away.
Have a seat. Jeremy Kane told me we're looking for some help. Something about curfew, even though you're 18 now.
Rose sits on a fold-out chair. Madeline gets a legal pad and starts writing as Rose speaks. Yes, my parents and my psychiatrist, Dr. Baker, think it should be extended. But I want to leave home, get my own place, start my own life.
That seems reasonable.
But I have a past. Something I did a long time ago that no one wants to forget, and they keep punishing me for.
Yes, I did some research. As you know, I'm kind of new to Mariposa. I grew up here, but I left about 10 years ago. I see that you had an episode last summer and attacked your father.
I don't remember, but yes.
But you weren't convicted of anything due to reason of insanity.
That's right.
You've been in treatment for over a year. I understand you've complied with all the judge's orders.
Yeah, I never missed a curfew, not once. They can't extend it. It's not fair. I want to move out. I have a plan and everything.
Have you finished high school?
I finish at Christmas. I lost a semester due to the trial last year.
It would be better if you were done school, but I'll see what I can do. You're really determined to fight this. You may lose.
If I don't, I swear, I'll die.
This isn't a matter of life and death, honey. You've got to take life's punches. That's how you grow up.
I don't have any money to pay you yet. I'm going to get a job at the new restaurant in town. My family's rich, of course, but I don't have any money myself, personally.
A job would definitely help your case. It shows that you are mature enough to be independent. I will give you 2 weeks to come up with a retainer of $200. Do you think you can do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I meet with the restaurant owner on Friday.
That's the Black Swan, isn't it? I've been meaning to go there. The owner's an old friend of mine.
Yeah, Mr. Larkin's a nice man.
Well, then he's changed a lot since I knew him. Good to meet you, Rose. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much for your help. Dave is in jeans and a shirt, sleeves rolled up, at his restaurant holding scissors and making flower arrangements with large masses of roses and daisies. Jess walks in, dressed in a beautiful white suit.
Now I'm somebody else. See? How's my favorite brother? Oh, you've taken up flower arranging. Doesn't figure top how you know.
It's cheaper than going to the florist. Didn't I tell you that I've retired the tough guy image?
Yeah, you were never really the tough guy type. Mom always thought you'd be some kind of artist.
Escape artist, maybe.
It's so nice having you back, Dane. I didn't realize it, but I really missed you.
I missed you too, since.
You seem to spend all your time here, though.
Well, I have a good reason. I need to make a living. You spend an awful lot of time with Tony.
That's because I love him.
Love him? Really?
Yes. At first, I thought it was just his money and power that I liked about him, but since I've gotten to know him, I've seen that he's kind, gentle, and he loves me, Dane. He really does. More than any man I've ever known.
I don't want you to get hurt, little sister.
What makes you think that Tony wants to hurt me?
I don't think you were hurt you on purpose, but he's dangerous. You must know that.
He plans to go legit, he told me so.
And you believe him?
Why shouldn't I?
Come on, Jess, you know better. We've known guys like him our whole lives.
He's different, Dane. He wants to marry me.
Really? I wonder if he plans to marry you before or after my funeral.
What in the world are you talking about?
I don't like him poking around, asking questions. I just want to be left alone to do what I do best. Feed the rich.
You never told me why you left Vegas. What were you up to over there? Oh, you have to level with me, Jane. Dun, dun, dun. Thank you so much.
So next week, next episode, Jess and Dane have it out about what's going on with Marco Santana and Tony. So stay tuned. Oh, and Rose and Dane, you know, fall in love.
Do they go through lust first?
No,
or
it's
is it
very
sexual
slow. It's a
lust?
soap
Okay.
opera.
Oh,
It takes years.
Thank you, Jennifer. Another round of applause for Jennifer. Thank you for a lovely cast. Cast of thousands in several bodies. Next, Flip, would you be ready to go up next? Woohoo! Next, we have Flipperima.
Okay. So Jen invited me to take a little more than the usual 5-minute limit. So I thought I'd do a longer piece tonight, perform a longer piece called Perhaps I Should Breathe Now. And there's a version of it on my website, which is flipperima.com, under Breathe Now. So, perhaps I should breathe now. The water I am floating in is still. It and I are the same temperature. The ceiling is only a few breaths away. There's an indefinite possibility I might start to think. The difficulty is deciding on a suitable subject. Schools have bars guarding their windows. Cameras look through titanium-fused atmospheric disturbances. The music on the radio is hypnotic repetition. Names and numbers are always interchangeable. Sex is a risk I constantly take, holding the genitalia of the big boys in the book. Phosphorus death lights the sky. A socialist framework with a capitalistic attitude. Speak with eyes protected. Hide underneath overstuffed pillows. In the commercials, all the women have double-jointed pelvises. Tender hands leave marks in desiccated flesh. Metal detectors line the doorways of classrooms. The today in my mind has no external expression. A chimpanzee without hair tells how it once was. A light goes out. The television turns on. Herb gardens in cities produce flavorless leaves. The tofu I consume is mostly synthetic. I open my eyes as far as they will go. The muscles in my forehead spasmodically quiver. I imagine I communicate with another dimension. Something that lives there taps into my thoughts. Perhaps I should breathe. Now every number contains a gig of information. Pharmacologically hacked clones have replaced thinking people. Lingerie is made in every color. The ceiling is smooth, impersonal, opaque. A bubble is trapped in the small of my back. It's like a pet gerbil that does not squeak, doesn't run in a wheel, doesn't eat or excrete. To give it value, I must find it a name. Let the white collars stay stiff. Let the riot cops shoot. Let the rope binding my elbows to my knees tighten like a snake constricting prey. A kitten purrs. All advertisements promise relief from some pain. Moving my toes creates tiny waves. They bounce off the walls and return to their start. They don't make much noise, don't have any color. They stop being as simply as they became the music on the radio, the saturated static. These are my papers. They show my infection with intolerable limits. 10 minutes alone is all that we need. Knowing your name would be a quaint touch. Perhaps I should breathe. Uranium fallout, stealth. If I open my mouth, the water will get in. The sound in my throat will be trapped forever. The hope that I harbor will turn a dark green. The bubble moves. The ceiling shifts. Hair from my body sinks through the water. I want to roll over and watch it swirl. It might make a pattern that has some meaning. Be subject for thought. Reveal a name suitable for a gerbil. Value is measured in American dollars. Teachers click televisions to blatant commercials. Thinly fleshed faces look up at the night. Satellites network with one another. The today in my mind has no external expression. All numbers succumb to 1 and 0. A group of children torture the kitten. Bloodstained lingerie floats near my hand. Refugees eat photographs of homes they once loved. The men in the commercials all use the same face. Perhaps I should breathe now. Kick and scratch and screech at the water. Tighten my fingers into threatening fists. Stand up in this box, even if it means I crack my head. Outside the window, gunships circle. Inside my mouth, my teeth are aching. My tongue is swelling. The music on the radio is beat without rhythm. All the pillows are crushed flat from years of abuse. Space stations in the sky represent progress. The children giggle. The water cools. Pressure in my ears forces my eyes shut. My toes are numb with paralysis. I'm constipated and aroused. I am hungry and frightened. I am beginning to see the aura of all existence. Hope turning green. I want to believe the promises are real. Perhaps I should breathe now. The bubble has imploded. My infection increases. Other dimensions are beyond my reality. The numbers on my plate taste the same as poster paste. The today in my mind has no external expression. I have lost your name. The kitten is dead. Commercials are remastered with digital sound. Deep in my bowels, tofu turns sour. There is an indefinite possibility I might start to think. Thank you.
Thank you, Flip surf lift tonight. Is there anybody else? Alex, are you going to play tonight?
I was not planning.
Okay, it's not, okay. Stevie? Yes, would you like to come up to the stage? Do you need to tune or anything? It's like you've got a Superman shirt, so I'm just assuming you can do anything.
No, definitely not true. Can I have 30 seconds to grab my guitar?
Oh, no, you have to mime it.
It's gonna be awkward.
In that case, I will tap dance while we. I actually do not tap dance. My father told me if I ever brought home a pair of tap shoes, I would be out on the street. You tap dance?
I can dance, but I was gonna try and do like a, what do you call it, beatbox thing?
Oh,
Sort
okay.
of,
You
kinda.
mean so that I can tap dance to the beatbox?
Well, I don't really know how to do it, but I can sometimes, I can't always do it, but I can sometimes
I think
make
Stevie's
up like
gonna
songs
save
and
us.
stuff. Oh, he saved us.
No, I mean, no, I would prefer you didn't.
No, that's good.
I like the idea of like, it seems to me that tap dancing and beatboxing should be spiritual cousins. There's like
I
something.
can't tap dance though.
Oh,
But you can.
What? See, the thing is, I can't. I did one show where I tap danced, and I learned a single time step, and I got proficient at it by walking around the lake until I was okay at it. Then I actually tried to audition for another show where I was supposed to tap dance all the way through the show. I did not know how to tap dance enough to do that, but I pretended, and my audition looked something like. About that graceful. So you've just seen the amount of tap dancing I do. Stevie, will you come and rescue us from my terrible dancing? What a great guitar.
I'm assuming I'm just going acoustic, yes?
Oh, would you like to play it? If you can go acoustic, that'd be awesome. Oh, yeah, you can go electric after 9.
Song?
2 songs for 5 minutes. Did you do 2 songs because otherwise you might, stop halfway through? That'd be kind of weird.
I can actually one and play again. I'll play it. We're not going anywhere, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to see how loud the applause is after you finish the first one.
That's the gauge. Is that okay?
That's good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna do this. How many more times am I gonna switch it?
Running out of minutes.
That's why I did one song, because I knew I was just
Oh,
going
yeah,
to.
that's right. It's hard for songs, man.
We had another complicated conversation about the things we can't change. I don't know how to feel, how to be when I'm alone. Why can't I feel just a little? Kissable, kissable, just a little kissable, kissable, just a little kissable, kissable. Now I'm walking down the stairs trying to make my way to the door, to the door. Catch myself looking in the mirror, feeling kind of unsure. Just a little bit funny now. I wanna be just a little bit charming. Oh wow, why can't I be kissable, kissable, just a little lovable, lovable, just a little
Excellent. Do a second one.
Sure. Ooh. Can I save one for like, I probably want to plug in, so in a second.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. I won't be here, so, you know.
Okay.
You can do all.
Also,
Yeah.
I'm definitely making up that, that's not how that song goes, I'm just kind of improvising something new. But one second. Alright, we're done. You were a dream I had long ago when the sky was one. You were a dream I had not far over the horizon. Tell me now, do I make a sound? Do I have to write it down for you? Down is true. Tell me now, do I make a sound? Do I have to shout it out so loud or out loud? 'Cause this is how I feel. Riding just to steal just a little bit of you, just a moment of your time. Writing, winding, winding, just writing, just to find a way, just to find my page, my page. Got a message for you, don't think no bottle might do. Gotta send you my voice, I gotta send you mine. Got a secret for you, don't think no bottle might do. I gotta send you my voice, I gotta send you that. This is how I feel. I'm riding just to steal just a little bit of you, just a moment from your heart. Waiting, winding, just writing, just to find a way, just to find a page, my page, my page, my page, my page, my page, my page with you.
I feel like that second song was kind of like writing themed, like
Yes, very much.
yeah, it's very, very much on topic. So thank you for doing the nice little overlap
I
there.
thought it'd be fitting.
It was excellent.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the room who would like to perform in this section of the evening before we go hardcore music after 9? Anyone? Anyone?
I can play the piano right here.
Yeah? Will you?
It's a good time, yeah.
No, do you need a microphone too?
Don't need a microphone.
Excellent. What's your name?
My name is Adam Golding.
Hi, Adam Golding.
Hi, AdamGolding.ca is the Creative Sun.
Excellent. And I'm actually going to pick up the camera that's, well, the what do you call it, computer that's filming things and sort of point it in your direction. So if you see me with a screen in front of my face, that's what's going on.
was the name of that piece?
That was free improvisation.
Thank you. Just really enjoy improv when it kind of feels like we've, it's something that already existed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
like
lovely.
language rather than sentence.
Yeah, you know, music is a very nice language.
Everyone, thank you so much for coming tonight. I said I was going to try something different at the end, and I was going to force somebody else to do it, but I think I'm going to try it myself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you something that I would love to hear you address next time, which is in 2 weeks. We do this event twice a month, the first and third Tuesday of the month. Every Tuesday there will be music. On the weeks when we're here doing Right On Right Now, the music starts at 9 after we go from 7 till 9. On the other times, it's just music as far as the eye can see. But you're welcome to come and play music even earlier on the Tuesdays when I'm here, because there's nothing nicer than having a little bit of variety in your life. I'm just going to sing a song for you to finish off the evening. And I'm going to say that next time, if you feel like having a theme to inspire you with what you bring, the theme is going to be the idea of black and white versus shades of gray. So we got talking this weekend about the idea that if you have black and white opinions, it's not that hard to express them. They can be very hard opinions. But if you actually want to go into the gray areas, there's a lot of subtlety, and it becomes very difficult to express yourself sometimes. So that's the concept. Just jump off with that wherever you'd like. If there's anyone who's watching who'd like to add something in the comments about that, that's fabulous. Otherwise, I started this evening singing, doing poems about being lonely and depressed, and apparently not nearly as depressing as I thought I was, so that's a very nice thing always. This is a song about being trapped in your own head and dreaming of getting out of it. It's called Thea's Alone. Thea's alone in her cavern of darkness, counting the days that her dreams are unknown. Awkward with silence in sad isolation, she watches the houses that better off home of the people who walk through their lives with the smoothness of actors in classical roles. And she sits and she dreams of the day when her fears fall away, and she walks in the light for the very first time. Thea's alone in her cavern of darkness, a faint flickered smile coming quick to her lips. She's wandered again to her valley of shadow, where time and again she steps into the light. And what does it matter if life follows shadow? That dark follows light in an unending display. It's fine just to know she's had a light on her face, and it's all hers to summon. I'll send it away. I'll send it away. So is it a shame to seek the eye in darkness, her smile moving on like a cloud over grass? Ask if you want, but I doubt that she'll answer. Thea has learned not to take any chance, not a person might touch her. Ask what she's doing, or ask that she answer to let them inside. And so Thea sits in her cavern of darkness. It's warm and it's safe, and she's learned how to hide from the things that upset her, from truths that reinforce, from spurious friends and from callous romance. And she dreams of the day when her dreams will come true, and to thunder applause she'll step into the light. Thank you very much. Good night. Thank you so much. There will be a break of however long the break is, and then we will be back with Shay and music.